Alright, let's get into this. Jaime Lannister, the guy everyone calls the Kingslayer, didn't just snap one day and off his boss for fun. That moment when he drove his sword into Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King, was the end of a long, ugly slide into total insanity. It happened right at the climax of Robert's rebellion, when everything in Westeros was falling apart. To really get why Jaime did it, you have to go back a bit, see how Aerys went from a decent young king to a monster who wanted to barbecue 500,000 people just to keep his throne. And yeah, the books by George R.R. Martin dug deeper into the mess than the show does, so I'll pull from both to show you the full picture. Starting with Aerys himself, he wasn't always mad. Back in his early days, around 262 AC, he took the Iron Throne young and full of promise. Tall and handsome, with that classic Targaryen silver hair and purple eyes, he had this charm that drew people in. He loved to tour the realm, throw big tourneys, and hang out with his hand of the king, Tywin Lannister, Jaime's dad. Tywin was sharp as a blade, turning the Seven Kingdoms' finances around and making the realm richer than ever. However, the Mad King did have a complex and strained history with Tywin's family. Aerys lusted after Tywin's wife. Rumors persisted that as a young prince, Aerys was infatuated with Joanna Lannister, who was a lady-in-waiting to Princess Rhaella. It was even rumored that Aerys took certain liberties with Joanna during her bedding ceremony at her wedding to Tywin. All these did not hold Tywin back because a lion does not concern himself with the opinion of sheep. Aerys envied him a little, but they were tight. Early in his reign, Aerys was charming and promising, but power changes people, especially if you've got Targaryen blood. The first real crack showed during the defiance of Duskendale in 277 AC. That's when Lord Dennis Darklyn locked Aerys up for half a year over some tax dispute. Tywin wanted to storm the place, but Aerys' advisor, wise old Sir Barristan Selmy, talked him into a sneaky rescue. It worked, but when Aerys got out, something in him broke. He started seeing plots everywhere. Paranoia set in hard and he executed people on whims, accusing them of treason without proof. And then came the fire. Aerys had this obsession with wildfire, that green, sticky substance the alchemists brew up. It burns hot, doesn't stop easily, and he loves watching it work. In the books, it's clear he got a twisted thrill from it, described as him getting aroused while folks screamed and charred. The show tones that down a bit, but you still see the gleam in his eye during flashbacks. By the time Robert's rebellion kicks off in 282 AC, Aerys is deep in it. What sparked the whole war? During the tourney at Harrenhal, after winning the final joust, Prince Rhaegar Targaryen rode past his wife, Princess Elia Martell, and instead placed the crown of blue winter roses in the lap of Ned's sister, Lyanna Stark. The crowd was stunned into silence, and Lyanna's betrothed, Robert Baratheon, was greatly angered. A year later, Rhaegar Targaryen abducted Lyanna Stark. This sparked outrage among her family. Ned's older brother and heir to Winterfell, Brandon Stark, rode to the Red Keep and demanded that Rhaegar come out and die. The Mad King arrested Brandon and his companions for plotting to murder the Crown Prince, then summoned Brandon's father, Lord Rickard Stark, to King's Landing to answer for his son's treason. Lord Rickard, confident in his right, rode to King's Landing with 200 men and demanded a trial by combat. The Mad King granted his request but named Fire as the champion for House Targaryen. Lord Rickard was suspended from the rafters of the throne room while pyromancers lit a fire beneath him. Trapped in his own armor, he was slowly roasted alive. Brandon was forced to watch, bound by a leather cord around his neck. A sword was placed just out of his reach. As he struggled to reach the sword to save his father, the cord tightened and he strangled himself to death. In the books, George R.R. Martin lingers on the details. The ropes burning through Brandon's skin as he strangles himself trying to reach his dad, and the smell of roasting flesh. Aerys laughs through it all. These brutal murders pushed Lord Jon Arryn to raise his banners in rebellion rather than execute his wards, Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon, as Aerys demanded. This act sparked the war known as Robert's Rebellion. Now let's take a look at Jaime Lannister. He was just 15 when Aerys knights him and shoves him into the Kingsguard at the big tourney in Harrenhal. Now fully in the Kingsguard whites, Jaime is seeing things no kid should. Aerys forces himself on his wife every night and Jaime has to guard the door, listening to her screams while the king mutters about dragons and fire. He watches Aerys burn lord after lord, like Lord Rickard Conwy or Lord Chelsted, his own hand, just because they dared speak against him. Chelsted found out about Aerys' wildfire stashes and tried to talk sense. Angry Aerys cooked him alive and named the pyromancer Rossart as the new hand. Jaime's oath is to protect the king, no matter what, even from himself, but he's seeing a man who executes half his court on bad days, who scratches at his own scabs from the Iron Throne until they bleed, his nails long and filthy. In the books From a Storm of Swords, Jaime reflects on this later, calling it the start of his disillusionment, how the White Cloak turned from dream to curse. The show captures it in Season 3's bathtub scene and Season 6's visions, but the books let you crawl inside Jaime's head to feel the slow poison of it. Fast forward to the end of the war. Robert's army crushes Rhaegar at the Trident, smashes his chest with a warhammer. The rebels are closing in on King's Landing. Tywin has been acting neutral this whole time, and his 12,000 Lannister troops are twiddling thumbs at Casterly Rock. Why did he do that? He's waiting to back the winner, like always. Now he marches in, flying banners of loyalty to the Targaryens. Aerys, who at this point was desperate, listened to Maester Pycelle, Tywin's puppet, and opened the gates. And that was their big mistake. Tywin's men swarmed in and sacked the city. They loot and they kill anyone in red and black. Meanwhile, Aerys is cornered in the Red Keep, pacing the throne room and muttering to himself. This is where it all collides for Jaime. In the books From a Storm of Swords, Jaime tells the full story to Brienne while they're stuck at Harrenhal. He's in a tub, finally opening up after years of silence. The show's version in Season 3, Episode 5, Kissed by Fire, is almost word for word, with Nicolaj Coster-Waldau nailing that mix of bitterness and defiance. Jaime has been left to guard the keep, because the other Kingsguard are off fighting or dead. Aerys calls him in with his eyes wild. The Mad King has got this plan he has been brewing for months. He has wildfire caches hidden all over the city, including under the Great Sept of Baelor, in Flea Bottom's slums, even beneath taverns and the Red Keep itself. Enough wildfire to turn King's Landing into a pyre, wiping out 500,000 souls, including loyalists, rebels, small folk, and everyone. Aerys' hand, the sneaky Varys, has been begging him to flee, to take the royal family and sail east. But no, Aerys wants to burn them all. He thinks the fire will purify him and turn him into a dragon. Jaime hears this and he knows it is the end. Then Aerys ups the ante. He orders Jaime to kill his own father, Tywin, as he rides in. Bring me his head, the Mad King snarls. Jaime refuses to carry out the order. That's when Rossart, the pyromancer who is now the hand of the king, slips in. Aerys gives him the order, light the caches, burn them all. Immediately Rossart heads out of the throne room to carry out the king's orders. At this point, Jaime's got just seconds to act or King's Landing will be buried in the ashes. He runs Rossart down in the hallway, runs him through with his sword. He then bursts back into the throne room where Aerys is scrambling toward the Iron Throne, that twisted seat of swords, babbling about fire and dragons. In the show, we see it in Season 6, Episode 6, through Bran's Warg vision. Aerys' face twisted in fear for the first time, realizing death's real. He tries to run, but Jaime's faster. The blade goes into his back and he falls to his death. In the books, it is a slash to the throat as Jaime drags him off the throne. Either way, it was quick, messy, and final. Jaime sits on the throne after, staring at the dead king and waiting for whoever comes next. He doesn't care if it is Tywin, Robert, or some other fool. He is done. He killed the Mad King. Now, why did he do it? Well, at least not for glory, and definitely not for his dad, though that order from the Mad King to kill Tywin was the spark. Jaime did it because letting Aerys loose that wildfire meant ending the world he knew. 500,000 dead, including his sister Cersei, his little brother Tyrion, and everyone. In the books, Jaime spells it out. The truth is I killed Aerys because he was going to burn the city down, and I couldn't let that happen. The show has got the same line, but the books add layers. Jaime's guilt over not acting sooner, like when Aerys burned Lord Chelsted for trying to talk sense about the wildfire. Chelsted drowned himself rather than serve a madman. Jaime wishes he had joined him then. But here's the gut punch. No one believes him. Or at least no one buys it at face value. Jaime never explains, not fully or not right away. He keeps it bottled up for years. When Ned Stark bursts into the throne room, right after in the show, but after a couple Lannister lords spot him in the books, Ned sees Jaime lounging on the Iron Throne, bloody sword across his lap, and Aerys' corpse at his feet. To Ned, fresh from losing his father and brother to this king's flames, it looks like betrayal. A Kingsguard knight, sworn for life, stabs his king in the back the second his father and his men sack the city. It screams opportunism. But the Kingslayer nickname sticks. It follows Jaime like a shadow everywhere he goes. Lords whisper it, small folk spit it. In the books, it is even worse, with songs mocking him as the smiling knight in reverse and a false hero. Jaime lashes out, like when he tells Ned if he would have stabbed Aerys in the belly instead of the back, maybe he would get a statue. The show captures that sarcasm, but the books show how it eats at him. Jaime could have thrown the body out a window and claimed the Mad King committed suicide. But no, he owns it, and it costed him a lot. And the wildfire, it's the ghost that never dies. Those caches Aerys hid, they stay buried. In the books, Tyrion stumbles on some during the Battle of the Blackwater, using them to torch Stannis' fleet. Cersei blows up the Great Sept with the rest in the Winds of Winter preview chapters. Jaime sees it and thinks back to his old king's madness, history repeating. The show has Cersei do the same in Season 6, but ties it tighter to Jaime's choice. He saved the city once, only for his family to nearly do it twice over. So was Jaime Lannister a hero or a traitor? Well, it depends who you ask. To Brienne, in that bathtub scene, books and show, he's the man who chose the realm over his vows. To Ned Stark, Jaime is a traitor forever. To Robert, he is a useful tool, For Jaime himself, it's both. He broke the ultimate oath to uphold something bigger, not letting a madman turn a city to ash. In a world where honor gets you killed, he picked survival for everyone. And yeah, it made him the villain in the songs, but look at what he stopped. 500,000 ghosts don't sing his praises, but they don't haunt the streets either. That's the truth of it. Jaime Lannister didn't kill the Mad King because he was bored or ambitious. He did it because the alternative was watching everything burn. And in Westeros, that's as close to mercy as you get. That's the real story behind the Kingslayer. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments, what is Jaime Lannister to you? A hero, a traitor, or somewhere in between? If this cleared things up for you, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel with notifications on. See you in my next video.